Hello and welcome back to the final rapid reviews video of 2023. I've got a nice selection of figures here that I picked up across the holiday season, starting with Black Friday. And several of these were great discount and sales deals that I found. So let's get into it. We'll start off with this set of PVC figures that were released to commemorate Warner Brothers' 100th anniversary. These are a mashup of two of Warner Brothers' most famous properties, Looney Tunes and DC Comics. I had seen these online a few times, but I finally saw them in person at one of the Toys R Us pop-up stores that are located inside Macy's. They were on sale for 30% off, so I picked them up. There's Bugs Bunny as Superman, sculpted in a flying pose. His cape keeps him elevated. Tweety Bird as the Flash. Wile E. Coyote as Batman. Totally appropriate since Wile E. Coyote once ordered a bat suit from Acme Inc. The Tasmanian Devil as Aquaman. And this is the only figure to come with a separate piece. He does come out of this translucent water base. And Daffy Duck as Shazam, or as us old guys call him, Captain Marvel. Not much to say about these, I just thought they were a cool little set of figures and the price was right. Going from the smallest figures I purchased to the largest. This is the Owl Bear, released by Hasbro for the Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie line. There are two versions of this, a white one and a brown one, and the original retail on these is around $45. I came across this one on Amazon. I'm not sure if it was Black Friday or Cyber Monday, but this was discounted all the way down to $14.99. I'm not collecting those Dungeons & Dragons figures, but I have a special place in my heart for the Owl Bear because of his origins. The Owl Bear creature was derived from a set of cheap prehistoric animal toys from the 1970s, and I'll get around to doing a video on that someday. But for now, let's just look at this version of the Owl Bear. And he is a big, chunky boy. He can turn his head all the way around, appropriately enough, since he is an owl. He's got shoulder and elbow articulation. These are not double jointed, so it's a limited range of movement. He also has hips and knees, but again, the knees are very, very limited. He can swivel at the knee also. The feet don't really move at all, but his wrists can swivel. There is a joint in the waist, but it's pretty much useless. He does come with an alternate set of paws for his arms. So if you take off these clawed hands and put on those flatter paws, you can then get him down posing on all fours. And there is enough movement in the head so he can look straight ahead when he's in quadruped mode. I think for me the highlight of this figure is the head sculpt and the paint on the face. They've done a really nice job painting the beak and especially the eyes. And for comparison, here he is with a 6-inch scale Marvel Legends Craven the Hunter that we'll look at in a few minutes. I don't think the Owl Bear is worth the original retail of $45, but if you can get him at a discount and you're looking for some big monsters for your collection, this would be a good choice. Even if you don't collect D&D, you can use him as a monster with other figures like Marvel Legends, or even in a Masters of the Universe display. Merse Sunman was an impulse buy. I came across this at Target on sale for $6.59. Couldn't pass it up for that price, and that was a steal because this is a beautiful figure. Unlike the original and the Origins Sunman, he doesn't have that kind of cape wing thing that goes around his neck. I really never liked the look of that. This figure has proper wings, and they are done in a very sort of golden yellow, not quite translucent, but they do look really good. They are ratcheted on his back, and there are rivets in the secondary joints that hold well, and the rivets are in the back so you can't see them from the front, so that's good. Comes with his spear, which has some nice little sculpted details on it, and his sunburst shield. Very nice color scheme on the armor, red, green, black, and gold. Really nice head sculpt. I much prefer this one over the Origins version. The straps on the shield are sculpted so that one is a little wider than the other, so you can slip it over his forearm, and then he's got that open hand to slip through the other strap, so that's nice and secure. He's got the grasping hand for his spear, and he also comes with a second grasping hand and a closed fist. He has all the expected articulation for a figure of this scale: double jointed knees, elbows, ab crunch, bicep swivel, thigh cut, and a cut in the shin where the boot meets the leg. Sunman is definitely in the top 3 of my recent purchases. Just a really great all-around figure. Since I got Sunman, I decided I also needed his arch enemy, Pighhead, in the Masterverse collection as well. I was hoping to find him in stores, but I couldn't. He is still available on Amazon, but I went to eBay to shop around to see if I could get a better price. I found a seller on eBay that was selling a boxed example for $12 shipped. Not as much of a deal as picking up Sunman for $6.50 in the store, but still well below retail price. Pighhead comes with his mace, which is a translucent blue, as well as his shield. He's got the same alternate hands as Sunman. He's got an open palm for the shield, a grasping hand for the left and right, and a closed fist for the right. He also comes with this rubbery serpent, very flexible. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a weapon, a creature, or an energy effect, but he does come with this as well. I love the color scheme on Pighhead. He looks like a Generation 2 Transformer with the bright green and magenta parts. There's a bit of a metallic tinge to his blue armor. He's also got a great head sculpt with those offset tusks and those wild-looking red eyes. One minor thing with this figure is that to get these pauldrons to stay on his shoulders, you have to work up the straps until they're over his bicep, or else they're very loose. These guys will look great facing off on the shelf. And as far as the Masterverse line, I have not yet bought a figure that I didn't like. I think this line has been a home run for Mattel so far. I picked up 3 more Ninja Turtle reissues at Target: Ray Fillet, Krang, and Mondo Gecko. Krang comes in his little mobile life support unit with his brain drain gun. The arms of his unit just pop on and off. Nothing's really holding them in place. There were no instructions on how to attach the hose to the gun, but there was a hole on the bottom of the little walking unit, so I made the assumption that the hose plugged into there. Nice paint on his head. All his little blue brainy veins with the yellow eyes, white teeth. I know a Krang in the android body would be a desirable reissue because that one is hard to get in the original line. But for now, this one does the job. Mondo comes with only one accessory, that being his motorized skateboard. The wheels on it do roll, but the front wheels don't roll all that well. Nice paint applications on him. I know some of these Turtle reissues don't have all the same paint applications that they came with in the original line, but I don't have any original figures to compare them to. He does have trouble standing up when he's on the skateboard. He tips over a bit because he's back heavy, so it is good to use the tail to stabilize him a little bit. And he does have that little roller skate at the end of his tail. And his skateboard does come with the sticker already applied to it. Ray Fillet is my favorite of this bunch, and one of my favorite Turtles figures ever. He comes with his Ray Gill gun, and that throwing starfish, and his little fish partner, whose name is Fish Sticks. I've always loved the head sculpt on this guy with that giant toothy grin and those big wild eyes. He's got some nice paint on the back of his manta ray wings, which is like a turquoise over the seafoam green of his body. These Turtle Classics figures have been showing up more and more, especially at Target, and there are several different assortments in circulation right now. With a price of around 10 bucks, if you're looking for retro Turtles to fill out the collection, these are a good option. One of my favorite action figure releases in recent memory has got to be this Captain Carrot from McFarland's DC Multiverse line. Captain Carrot is leader of the Amazing Zoo Crew, a group of anthropomorphic superhero animals that exist within DC's multiverse on Earth C. The original Captain Carrot was a funny animal type character like a Looney Tunes or a Hanna-Barbera looking creature, but he was reimagined as more of a humanoid superhero, I believe for the first time during Final Crisis. I could be wrong. So that is what this figure is based on. And even though it's not the original Captain Carrot from the 1980s, I do really like this figure. He comes with 6 hands altogether, which includes a pointing finger and a thumbs up. And I like how McFarland has designed these nice thick posts for the hands to attach to. Many figures, when you switch out the hands, the connecting posts are so small and thin you're afraid you're going to break them. But not so with this figure. He is a McFarland Collector's Edition release, so he does come with this trading card and a nice holder to display it in. And there's information about the character on the back. And yes, I should have read this first because I am correct. This version of Captain Carrot is from Final Crisis, and he now resides on Earth 26 in DC's new multiverse. There's also a flight stand included, but I find this flight stand to be quite useless. This claw is not big enough to fit around the figure's waist, so I'm not sure how you're supposed to use this with this figure unless you kind of prop it up under one of his arms. I just have it thrown in an accessory box. I don't find it to be useful at all. There's a lot of really beautiful sculpting on this figure. All the fur on his ears and face is all nicely detailed, and all the detail put into his costume is really impressive. This looks like the type of costume you'd see in modern superhero movies with all the texture over it rather than just flat spandex, and it does really look good. This figure is really superposable with double jointed knees, elbows, ab crunch, butterfly joints, bicep swivel. His rabbit toes have articulation, and even his ears are on ball joints. The cape is flexible, it does not hinder his movement at all, and there's also a ton of sculpted detail on the texture of this cape, just like on the costume. And they also gave him his little fluffy bunny tail. I am not normally a collector of McFarland DC Multiverse, because I already have a bunch of Mattel's old DC figures, which are 6-inch, and of course, Todd has decided to go 7-inch. Which is too bad because I'd probably buy more of his figures if they actually fit in with my old Mattel collection. But since this is the first ever figure of Captain Carrot, I had to pick up this one. And the difference in scale doesn't bother me with this figure. I mean, who's to say that a giant superpowered rabbit can't be taller than Superman? I ordered this directly from McFarland. It was released exactly when they said it would be released, and it is one of the best figures I've picked up in 2023. From here on out, it's going to be all Marvel Legends, and we'll start with Moon Knight. This version of Moon Knight was originally released as a Walgreens exclusive several years back and became very pricey to get on the secondary market. This is basically the same figure, but now it is a Target exclusive, released on the retro Toy Biz style Marvel Legends card. This is the classic Moon Knight, done in all white. His moon symbol done in silver on his chest, with a little bit of very, very light gray spray around it to make it stand out. His wristbands, belt, and leg bands are done in sort of a pearl white type plastic, which makes them shinier than his flat white costume, makes them stand out a little bit. He comes with two different heads, one with the black face, and he comes with the alternate white-faced head. The very thin strip of black around the eyes is very clean and well done, and there's also a very light spray of gray around the eyes, just like on the chest. He comes with two alternate fist hands, and he has a selection of throwing moons. The large ones can fit in his hands, but the smaller ones are really, really tiny. I'd be afraid to display him with those smaller ones because they could easily drop out of his hands, fall on the floor, and become vacuum fodder. I found this Moon Knight in store at Target when he was first released, and around the holidays he did go on sale on the Target app, although I did pay full price for him. But I just checked the app and it does seem that he's now sold out. So hopefully anyone that wanted this release was able to pick him up. Craven the Hunter from the Spider-Man Retro Card Wave, exclusive to Walmart. I did not pick him up upon his release several months back, but over the holidays he did go on sale for half price on the Walmart app. And being that he is a classic Spider-Man villain, I did pick him up. The big complaint about this figure from most people is the face sculpt, where he looks like he is constantly constipated. Would have been nice to have an alternate head that has a more normal expression, but I guess I'll have to live with this one. Other than the weird head sculpt, he is a decent figure. His lion face vest looks pretty good, with the flowing mane in the back. He's got the zebra stripe wristbands and boots, his spiky belt, and his trademark spear accessory. Not much to say about this one, but he does fill a hole that I had in my Spider-Man villains collection. Another Spider-Man villain that I've been meaning to grab is Michael Morbius. This version came in a 2-pack with the 6-armed Spider-Man. And just like Craven, these went up for half price on the Walmart app. Morbius looks pretty good. I don't think he's exactly a first appearance version. I think in his first appearance his eyes were a little bit larger than that, as he was drawn by Gil Kane. But to me this version is preferable to the more modern Morbiuses, and gave him sort of that goth 90s look. The only alternate part he comes with is a different cape, which just hangs down in the back. But I do prefer displaying him with the outstretched wing cape. The mutated 6-armed Spider-Man looks pretty good, but he only comes with 2 alternate hands for his costumed hands. For his extra 4 arms, you have nothing but fists. He does have good articulation, and the 6 arms are offset enough so they don't crash into each other, so you can get him in a variety of poses. This is not a figure I would have considered picking up, but he came in the 2-pack with Morbius. And Morbius was the figure I wanted, so I would just consider this guy to be a bonus. Classic Namor the Submariner is a figure that I've been meaning to pick up for a while. This version was released back in 2018 with the line for the original Black Panther movie. Surprisingly, he was still available on Amazon, and on Black Friday they actually discounted him about $10 off. Besides his trident, he comes with an alternate head with a bearded face, and he's got 2 alternate hands with outstretched palms if you wanted to put him in a swimming pose. He's got all the expected articulation, although in some spots the musculature on the sculpt is a bit odd, like on his abdomen. The space between his abs is really pronounced, so it looks a little strange. but what paintwork he has is well done. The gold on the wristbands and the belt, and he's got a metallic green on his swimming trunks. And his ankle wings are not part of the leg sculpt. They are separate pieces that were added, and they were done in a flexible plastic. At the time of this recording, this Namor is still available on Amazon. Not as deeply discounted as he was, but still a few dollars off original retail, so if you're looking for a classic Namor for your collection, this one is readily available. The final Marvel legend we're looking at is Doctor Strange's Lady Love Clea, who was recently released in the Mindless One Build-A-Figure wave. Clea made a cameo in a post-credit scene in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, played by Charlize Theron, a movie that I thought was very not good. Clea comes with 2 alternate fist hands and 2 of the swirly energy effects that have been getting included with a lot of the energy-wielding Marvel Legends figures, these done in translucent purple. This is more of a classic version of Clea. She's got the rings on her leggings, as Steve Ditko would have drawn her. Very nice colors on the costume, and she's got a really nice head sculpt. Her face is really well done, as well as her hair all around. And her hair is really making my white balance go a little bit nuts, so sorry for the color change. This is a really nice version of comic book Clea, and she displays well with classic Doctor Strange and Dormammu. That's it for this final rapid reviews of 2023. Is there anything here that you picked up or plan on picking up? And did you find any great sales or discount deals over the holiday season? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video in the new year.